everyone. It's Candace Craw-Goldman of quantumhealers.com. And today I am having, is everything okay? I'm going to start over. Is everything all right?
Yeah, it just something popped up.
Okay.
I had to take it out.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to start over. So here, clap, clap. All right, here we go again. Hi, everyone. It's Candace Craw-Goldman from quantumhealers.com, and I'm taking a little time out of my day today to have a chat with quantum healer, Erika Furuzono. Hi, Erika.
Hi, Candace. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm happy to have this time to talk to you, Erika. Erika, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone? Let us know a little bit about your background and the kind of work that you do.
Yeah, sure. I'm Erika Furuzono. I'm rapid love transformation expert. I help people to break through uncertainty, emotional pain, and fear in relationships to get clarity and a happy love life without settling for less.
Beautiful. And you call it the rapid love transformation technique. I just love that, rapid love.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
Well, it was because of BQH, Candace. BQH opened up every door for me.
I can't wait for you to tell us about it. So tell us your story.
Yeah, so like I have no idea what's happened because usually when it comes to new technique, my guide brings that to me. I'm not seeking anything like look through on the computer. So like BQH appeared because I was looking to connect with oversoul at the time, and I couldn't really connect with anything higher than 9D. Because I'm a clear audience and I could speak with actuarians of 9D and stuff like that, but I couldn't go anything higher. So I'm like, what should I do? What's the best method? And I was telling them like, oh, I need to contact with oversoul and find out, like have more clarity about my mission and what I'm supposed to be doing here. Like I knew like overall stuff, but I wanted to know like details, like what should I do and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then BQH appeared, and then I'm like, okay, what is this? And then I looked into it. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And then I can see people's energy by just looking at them or looking at their photo. So I looked through a practitioner, not from your directory, but on YouTube. And this lady I was watching, she happened to be BQH practitioner. So I'm like, okay, I should ask her to do the session for me. So I did that. And then it was super interesting. Like oversaw started talking to me my initial incarnation of a planet, which is no longer here in the galaxy. And I had whole like visual and everything. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then session was great, everything was great. And then she connected with Pleiadians, and then they said, oh, we're gonna like bring 2 notches up and now you can become a clairvoyant. And my vision is really bad. Like when I do my movie work and the lead script, I can see very visual. I can see everything like a movie when I read them page by page. But when I do visualization or I do any kind of imagination about, I had to imagine something else, I can't do it. So like, I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And then suddenly I could see myself on the ship, of course, with different bodies, and looking at me from the ship.
Wow. So all this happened during the BQH session?
Yeah, before and after.
Oh, so it continued then. Interesting.
Yeah, like hour after I could suddenly become a clairvoyant.
You know, that's so interesting. Here in Kansas, we just finished up just 3 or 4 days ago, the very first live BQH class. And even after the first night, just when we did the meet and greet, a couple of the people came for the first day of class. and there was already things happening. And like one gal in the class, she was saying, you know, I never remember my dreams. And I had this dream last night. And I mean, it was just so interesting. We hadn't even started the class yet. And
Wow.
some of this kind of stuff is happening. So that's a fascinating story. So something opened up in you and you're able to connect with higher and deeper dimensions. And
Well, I still needed to meditate when I needed to connect with 12D because it's too high for me. But what's happened was the lady was telling me that because I was talking about all these lower energies and it's very difficult to handle those because I can sense people's energy or any living being's energy, including galactic people. So I'm like talking to her, and then she was like, "Oh, I just felt this energy, and I think it's like negative ones." And she said, "Oh, I don't think so. When you are exposed by super high frequency, like your negative part of energy is reflecting, and they're gonna think it's negative energy, but not always." So she was saying, "Oh, if you want, like you should meditate and try to speak with this 12D being because they want to gift something to you and they really want to connect you." So I did meditate like immediately after the session because I was like, okay, I'm still super high. So I had to do it. And I did that. And then these 12D beings, the group of entities were connecting with my people from my planet beings. So they're merging together, like one collective to another, they're merging. And they told me they're kind of like closest way to describe them is like police figure in the galaxy. And then they have a shield when they did have a semi-physical body and a semi-physical ship. So when someone is trying to attack them, like whatever the stuff is dropped like a fly, so they can't even attack because they have a strong shield and they have all this technology. So they said they can give that to me. So when I encounter someone who has lower frequency, I can feel it, but I don't get any effect of it. So they told me that, and then I got that, and then I'm fine with that now. Like I no longer feel like, let's say when I do the session and then person has, you know, lower frequency, and then it takes me about 2 or 3 hours to get back to my normal self, like frequency wise. But now it has no effect on me.
so it really changed some things. I'd like to know more about your how this all helped you create the rapid love transformation technique too,
Yeah,
and what that does for some clients. If you can kind of give us some stories about how
yeah.
that might have helped some people.
I was doing like a swap session with colleagues because like even we are like a practitioner, sometimes it's a good to practice with each other, and also some of them you become friends. So you meet up with your friends like from, you know, the other side of the world like frequently. I have a couple friends from BKH world, and then like I was doing a swap session with my friend. Then I always ask about like business question, you know, business related question. I don't do anything esoteric. So after I finished those, Divine Feminine Goddess Collective started to speaking through me. That was in February. And then
So you call it the Twin Flame Goddess Collective.
yeah, it's
That's,
a collective entity. Like I think they embody divine feminine
mm-hmm.
energies. They're collective. They are non-physical. I don't see them. I can hear them. So they started to speaking through me. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? I wasn't planning to do anything. It's just they started to speaking through me. And then we taped it, so I listened to it, and I'm like, okay, this must be the contract. Like I probably made a contract with them because they're saying like I be start working with them. So I started putting a couple of channeling messages to twin flame folks, and then they're not only working for twin flame people, but they're working for anyone who is like in the relationship, like romantic relationship. So I had to shift myself to, you know, doing all this regular stuff to relationship oriented like help, because we decided to work as a team. So they always join me when I'm doing the session, along with my other teams. So Rapid Lab Transformation was co-creation with them. They gave me all script. I can't write script unless like, it's just, you kind of have to be in trance state. And then I just typed it, all this script, like they typed it.
So do you bring both parties of a couple into a trance state? How does it work practically?
It doesn't have to be couple. Usually like my clients are individual.
Uh-huh.
So they have like some kind of issues in the relationship, or they don't meet, they're looking for someone. Like I help both single people or like someone who is in the relationship. I have a lot of twin flame, you know, clients like who are going through challenging twin flame journeys, and they want to find out what is going on in the relationships, like how many lessons they have done and what's more they need to be done or something like that. So we do basically, we find out what someone is having issue, like they have some kind of idea, but like we connect with our team and make sure to get the clarity of what kind of issue they're having and how we can help energetically and in other way as well, because I started out as an energy worker. So I do matrix energetics. That's like, you know, what I was super accustomed to. And then I add BQH on top of it, and then all other stuff on top of that too, NLP and other hypnosis. But like basically, this is a collaboration work with Twin Flame Goddess Collective because they wanted to work with me. And I know that was part of my contract, even though I wasn't aware of it because they just, you know, appeared out of nowhere.
That's so interesting. And so you combine these techniques and you sort of sit in a space with your clients and they help either with energy or with information. Do I have it right?
Yeah, they go into under like, you know, hypnosis kind of state because I'm gonna put them under like with hypnotic script. But them and I will work energetically as well because I can see what is happening with the client by looking at them. And then before I was doing it after the session, like after like people go under, but now I can do it while something is happening. Let's say when they have a past life of like 17th century and this French woman is, I'm just saying example, like having like extremely tough relationship with her husband, and then she got killed by him or something, for example. I can see that and I can heal that part of the entity, not the entity, the pastime, past life figure with Twin Flame Goddess Collective, and then either bring them to the light or integrate with the person. So they no longer have repetitious patterns from that life.
That's so interesting. One of the things that I actually wrote it down because I've been seeing this now on occasion from people who've taken the BQH class. They say a version of the thing that you said here, which is, so without any specific training, just going through the BQH class, you sort of became this, you were connected and you were able to channel these wise and healing collectives. And I've heard that from a number of people, and it's always so interesting because there's always very unique characters and groups. Like I've never heard of a group like the Twin Flame Goddess group, and I just think that's amazing, and it inspired you then to help clients with their relationships. That's wonderful.
Yeah, like I never thought I gonna have a specific way to help people, because I was thinking more like, of course I'm open to help people who want to have a galactic session with me. I can do that, but like they're guiding me to do specifically relationship stuff. So I add Akashic record reading on top of that, because always people are asking like, okay, what's happening between me and my twin flame, or what's happening me and my soulmate, or what's happening me and my boyfriend, or what's happening me and my husband, or what kind of relationship are we having? So it's sort of like fast, quick glances to look through Akashic record, because when you go under with regression, it takes longer time. But Akashic record, it only takes 1 hour. So yeah, that's part of the stuff I offer in coaching program. And I happen to, before I started doing this, I was super into like coaching stuff and relationship stuff for my own like interest.
Uh-huh.
So I took all of the stuff like for me, like
Mhm.
I have been. So I was so much into like a relationship topic, but I never thought like, okay, I was doing it for future. Like I was just doing it for me.
Well, that's you're making me now think about. I was reading a little bit that what you wrote on your listing on our directory, and you said you kind of started out in movies and doing acting and things like that, and so. And then you were like, you started to do that, and it moved you into something else. I wonder if you could tell us, well, just everything. I mean, you live in New York, right? New York
Yeah,
City.
yeah, I am. I am.
Yeah, but
I
you're not
spent,
originally from there.
yeah, I was born in Japan, and then I came here. Actually, I came here to get the regular, like get find something I can study, which is not entertainment, because I was trying to get away from my childhood dream in a way. And then I got into nursing program, and they kind of kicked me out from first semester.
What
Yeah, all eight except
what
like
did you do?
I didn't do anything. I was doing good job, but like one teacher, I couldn't really explain what's happened, but I could feel she was like having not a good feeling toward me, and I couldn't really prove that that was a discrimination, and I couldn't really speak that much at that time. But it was a blessing, because I got into acting program after that. I could tell my mom like, hey, like I can't do nursing program, so can I get into acting, because she wouldn't pay money for it, because she gonna think like that's not like something you study in college.
Sure.
So I did that, and then I started out as an actor and doing modeling, but like the guy I was going out at that time was a producer, and then he kind of inspired me to do producing. That's
Wow.
how I got into producing.
See, so what kind of production work were you doing?
I was kind of started out as a development department assistant of development. So I started
Like
out.
for movies or
Yeah,
commercials or
movies,
shows?
movies.
Wow.
And then a lot of people started asking me like, "Oh, did you work in Japan? Did you work in Japan?" I never worked in Japan because I was educated here. But like, okay, maybe like it's a good idea for me to start working with Japanese people. So I got into, I accepted the job offer in the one of the biggest TV station. They have a branch in New York, and then we started working there, and then we made like a bunch of music documentary and stuff like that. I met like a couple of super, well, I met Bon Jovi. He was very like down to earth, nice person.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did all these interviews and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and documentaries.
That's so interesting. I'm sitting here thinking about this idea of, well, all of the things that you've been interested in. And I did a webinar earlier today, a
Huh?
BQH webinar, and it was a lot of French people showed up. So there was a lot of translating and things like that going on. But that's neither here nor there about the point I was going to make. Anyway, I was talking to the students there about several things, and I kept coming back to this idea of when you are bringing a client into a BQH session, one of the great ways of talking about it is in terms of movie references, you know, and Dolores Cannon herself is famous for saying that, you know, if your life was a movie, you're the actor, you're the producer, you're the director, and you actually, you know, are the person who casts the characters in the play or in the movie. And so this is so interesting, all of the different things that you've done here, because you started out in the helping profession, started out, you know, which is, you know, with nursing, but then you moved to sort of production and entertainment, and now you're doing spiritual work, and you're kind of putting it all together. That's fascinating.
It was amazing, like how, because I was fine with like nursing, you know, I was like, they took us to a maternity ward, and like first semester they made us see all this C-section. I was okay with that. I didn't like faint or anything, so I was like, I can handle this. You know?
Yeah, I do know. Gosh, well, okay, now hold on here. So so now I'm actually, you know, paying very close attention to all the things you're saying, and you're talking about feeling energy and sensing energy. Have you always had that?
No,
Or
no, I didn't. I never had that. Like, I think it was a divine guidance why I didn't become a nurse. Because I'm so sensitive to energy, I can't work in the hospital. I can't be in the hospital. Like energy.
That's what I was going to ask. I was even going to ask about those cesareans, because that's a very, you know, the energy there is a very strange thing, right? A baby that is trying to naturally go one way is being removed in a completely different way. An energy sensitive person is really going to, you know, see an interesting show there, I would think.
Yeah, I wasn't awakened at that time, so I was fine with that.
Oh gosh, yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, to be in a hospital, if you're very sensitive to energy, a hospital is a tough place to be. Well, heck, every place is a kind of a tough place to be these days.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Erika?
But you know, like when you keep your energy within yourself, no matter where you go, you're fine with it.
Sure, I understand.
You kind of live in different dimension. You see same thing as other people, but you experience more higher frequency experience. Like you don't see all this drama or like fear or anger. Like you don't encounter those.
Yeah, but you can still observe it. You just don't get your fingers sticky with it, I guess is a good way of putting it. You know, you
Yeah.
can, I do know that. So what's it like there for you in New York City? Do you see clients in person, or do you do mostly things online, or how's it work?
I love to do like in-person session, but I do it like online because you know how the situation right now. And I think an online session is pretty good for both of practitioner and the clients, because they don't have to get ready to get to where I'm at. And also they don't have to worry about go home. They're home.
Right.
They get sleepy, they can just go right into their bed and go back to sleep if they want to.
Isn't that nice? I don't know if you've had sessions like this, but I've had sessions where very little is said afterwards, because actually the healing teams or the higher self, like just let her sleep now. She really needs to integrate, and the energies still need to keep coming, and you guys can talk, you know, at a different time. And that kind of stuff wasn't possible with in-person sessions years ago.
Yeah, like you can let your client sleep like 5 hours or something on your couch.
You know, I've had that happen before.
Really?
A few years back, I had a woman, you know, it's so interesting because she came into the wellness studio. She was a very happy, kind of
Uh-huh.
bubbly person. She was great. She ended up being a practitioner herself, actually, but she had a history of some difficult relationships, and she actually had a history of ulcers. And even
Mhm.
though she came in just very, very bubbly and excited and very positive, the session, although it was also positive at one point, the higher said, you know, she still has very, very deep healing to do over some of these stomach issues. She's
Hmm.
mostly taken care of them, but not completely.
Hmm.
And she ended up being um, finding like she had to purge even in the studio, right? And which was
Mhm.
fine, you know, bathroom and all of that. But
Mhm.
this woman was so tired afterwards, so tired, she just slept. I couldn't go anywhere for a while because she had to
Wow.
sleep. She wasn't going to go anywhere. I mean, that would, you know, she wasn't going to go anywhere. And she was a fairly local person. It wasn't like she'd driven a long ways or anything like that, or needed to get on a plane or anything like
Hmm.
that. But she did need to get in her car and take herself home, but that wasn't possible for a while. So this whole idea of you know, being at home already. But I have to say, in case anyone's looking a little sideways at the idea of not wanting to do that for a session,
Really?
it was just so unexpected. She was very up, and then, you know, then it was like this really intense healing. And
Mhm.
it took her about, she said, about a day and a half. And but then afterwards, she was absolutely better than ever, more
Wow.
sparkly and more amazed than ever. But neither one of us really saw it coming. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because she'd done the shadow work. She had looked at it. She'd given the you know, forgiveness. She did the understanding. She gained the wisdom from it all. But
Mhm.
the higher self said, there's just, I even remember the way they said it, the dregs. They said there's still the dregs at the very, very bottom, and that was deep physically inside her belly. And when,
Wow.
yeah, and when she got them out, she was surprised. She was like, I mean, I remember she was so surprised, and I was surprised too.
Oh,
But when, you know, like I said, after a day and a half or so, she was better than ever. So you just never know what's going to happen in these sessions, do you?
that's true.
Yeah.
You have to be like improvise, right? You have to be ready for anything.
Yeah, you really do. Well, I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned a couple of other modalities that you've been trained in or that you've practiced,
Oh yeah.
both NLP and matrix energetics. How do you find that those sort of things are useful in
Matrix
BQH?
energetics is super useful. Like one of the reason why I think my guides guided me to BQH because BQH you can combine with anything, everything, right? The matrix energetics is same. You can combine anything with everything with matrix energetics.
That's great.
So let's say like if you know some kind of modality and then you can download it without let's say taking the seminar, you can download it. So I do have a BQH folder in my matrix field as well, even though I can do BQH because you never know like if people don't want to do BQH, let's say they're scared of hypnosis or something like that, right? So I have a bunch of folders of other modalities within the field. And I love Mac. So my field there is a computer and then you look at the screen and my screen is Mac screen. But in there there's a folders, just like Mac folders, and BQH and all other modalities are in there. And then you can just access and then you access it and then throw it to your client. I love
So
matrix.
you're talking about energetically in your energetic field.
Yeah,
You have folders that you download and use in sessions.
yeah, because like the founder Richard Bartlett was telling us that you can download anything, everything, you know,
Sure.
but it's better if you know the modality and you can download it. So I definitely downloaded like BQH because some people, you know, they are. I was kind of scared of hypnosis still in the beginning, so I understand like why some people feel like resistance to doing hypnosis. So some people, if they are resistant to doing like, you know, hypnosis, but you kind of feel like you need to use them, but without doing hypnosis. So you can just use like a BPH number 2 or something. I don't even know what's number 2 folder has. But field can decide that that must be something that person needed or something, right? So I really, really fall in love with matrix energetics, but I was just doing that on the side to, you know, people I know, and I was doing that as more a part-time thing because I was too busy with my entertainment stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never thought, you know, I gotta do this, you know, coaching as a full-time profession. But BQH kind of like made everything in congruence. Like it's just I wouldn't do it just with matrix energetics because I don't really think it's feasible. Just that's my opinion
Mm-hmm.
to just do energy work and make it as a good profession. That's my point of view. So I wanted to have more what you gonna call it, people are familiar with. Like QHHT, a lot of people know about it.
Mm-hmm.
BQH, people started to know about it. It's more like, to me, is like quantum hypnosis,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you can add healing to it, but it's more of hypnosis to me, which is less woo-woo to some people. Like matrix energetics, people are like, what the heck is that? Like, you know, it's amazing modality, but I never thought of doing it as a full time to be a matrix energetics practitioner and do that as a full time, like combining with, you know, BQH and the other modalities. Yeah, I can see that, but without BQH, nothing would have happened.
Hey, Erica, I'm sitting here thinking about it, something else that you wrote too about walking with your grandmother when you were young in Japan. You know, my first real memories of life were living in Okinawa with my parents when
Oh
I
my
was
God, you are in
very,
Okinawa?
very, very young. Yes, we moved there when I wasn't even 2. I think I was 12 months, 13 months old. We lived there and we stayed there till I was almost 4. And
Uh-huh.
my brother was born there, and I had amazing memories there. I had my first out of body experience. I had, had all
Wow.
kinds of memories of being a tiny, tiny, brand new person in Japan. And you were talking about walking with your grandmother, and so I have to make this connection because I'm thinking about it so much. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Lauren, our daughter Lauren,
Uh-huh.
she and her husband early next year are going to be moving to Japan.
Oh my
I
God.
know. So he's a naval officer, and
Uh-huh.
I don't know how long they'll be there, but
Uh-huh.
I'm definitely going to find my way. Hopefully, the world will be okay with this by then. But
Yeah.
I want to get on a plane and go back to Japan. But I haven't been back. I haven't been back in 57 years, right? So I mean, it's a very, very long time, or 56 years, I guess, about. But I wonder, some of those, it was one of the first things that you said when you were talking about yourself, and I
Yeah.
wondered if you could tell us a little bit about that, about with your
Uh,
grandmother and walking in those gardens, and
my
how your upbringing has anything to do with who you are now and how you practice.
I think it's more of living in harmony because that Emperor's Palace. I still go there. I still go there because it's kind of like a Central Park. It has a lot of greens, and then there's a palace, but you can't really go in there because if you're, I think if you're foreign person, you can get in, and then they open inside of the palace like I don't know, twice or three times a year for the general public. And I was inside like last year. Yeah, I was in Japan last year and I went in. It was beautiful. It just has a lot of nature, a lot of beautiful birds, and if people walking, it's everybody's happy. It's just so much like I don't know. It's harmony. Like, I was like walking with my grandmother because we lived near the palace, so that was our spot. And I thought the palace was so humongous because for the little girl, you think like 4 or 5 years old, it's like so huge. So I decided to go same route. It took me maybe like what 20 minutes to just walk. It wasn't that huge place like our route, but still beautiful and still a lot of nature. And I usually go there for even now when I'm in Japan, like to get more energy. Like when you live in like concrete jungle, you feel like your energy is um, kind of like stuck. You feel kind of stuck, and you need to get in touch with nature. You need to get in touch with earth, and that place for me like represent like harmony and all that kind of peace and love. So yeah, that's definitely influenced me big
Mm-hmm.
time.
That's
Yeah.
that's nice. So you make it back there sometime. Well, maybe we can meet up there or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, definitely.
Maybe we can go together when it's
Oh
time
yeah, definitely.
when it's time for me to go for a visit. It'd be wonderful to go with somebody who might speak the language.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh, this
yeah.
has
I
really
can
been
definitely
wonderful.
do that. It probably has been changed so much, but it's still like I think I don't know. I haven't traveled too many areas in Japan. Like I know Tokyo because my relatives are there still, but like that's about it. But like the countryside, I think it hasn't changed, and Okinawa is probably not changed that much. It changed not like humongously, like you don't recognize or something. I'm pretty sure they have like all this nature part,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a travel guide that had some beaches of Okinawa, some photos, a travel guide there, and I just had never seen it in that way. It's only been in my memories, all these years, but it's going to be interesting to head back there here in the next year or so to go visit. And
Yeah, Okinawa is beautiful. I was there with my parents when I was little, and Okinawa looked a lot like Hawaii,
yeah,
like turquoise blue ocean and
yeah,
white sand,
yeah,
like tropical,
yeah,
warm.
yeah. Well, you're certainly living in a different place now, New York City. That's on the other side of the world, a different kind of way of being. You're quite the adventurer, Erica.
Well, to me, like I came from mid mid mid-sized town like Boston in Japan. Boston like kind of city in Japan. So let's say when you're from Boston, go to New York or go to London, that's not that much difference. You
Hmm.
just go to big city,
Sure, sure.
you know.
Yeah.
So I was fine with it.
Yeah. Some of the culture stuff has got to be a little different, though. That's for sure.
And well, the biggest part was language,
Hmm.
but other part wasn't huge problem for me.
Hmm.
Like to me, I had more culture shock when I had to be in Los Angeles, like in the past. I had the culture shock, like huge culture shock back then than when I came from Japan to New York.
Really?
Yeah, like all my friends are saying like, oh, New York isn't like America. It's like cosmopolitan city, but this is not America. And I was like, okay. So I moved to like Los Angeles, and
Uh-huh.
then people are not like saying like yes or no in that clear manner. So it took me like whole year to understand like when they say no, they don't say no. They speak just like Japanese people, but they speak in English. That was really confusing to me.
Interesting.
And then you kind of have to talk about weather, or you have to kind of talk about like weekend stuff. You can just get right into the topic, like business topic, because it sounds so rude over there. I don't know anything about that.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Well, I imagine you get to meet lots of people from all over doing this work, particularly online. Erika, it's been great to get to know you a little bit today. Would you tell everyone how they can find you, how they can get a hold of you, if they'd like to talk to you about some of your twin flame goddess energy group? Let's see, rapid love transformation work.
Yeah, so you can usually find me in my Facebook on my page. So it's Erika Furuzono, Erika underscore Furuzono coach. So I spell it Erika with K and then underscore and Furuzono and coach. That's how you can find me in Facebook, and then all other information is there. So
Sure.
you can contact me there.
And of course at
Yeah,
quantumhealers.com as well. All you have to do is
oh,
start typing
definitely.
Erika's name and she pops right up.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
this has been wonderful, Erika. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks so much. And stay tuned to the next show. Who knows what we're going to talk about or who we're going to talk with next, but we're going to do way more of this throughout the year of 2020. And until next time, that's all for today. Bye, everyone.
Bye.